Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover with Universal Monsters, Donatello as the Invisible Man. I got this figure from Big Bad Toy Store. It was in my most recent pile of loot. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover with Universal Monsters, Donatello as the Invisible Man Ultimate Action Figure. Here he is on the front, bandages on the face, goggles, just like the original Invisible Man. One side, Turtles, Universal Monsters, the Invisible Man. On the back, it's sort of like a movie poster, the Invisible Man, all the different display options and accessories. Old school's checklist on the side. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there's his barcode, in case that helps anybody. This is one of NECA's Ultimate figures. Window box packaging. You can hear the Velcro as you open it. On the inside flap, here's a figure, and then here he is with all of his accessories. So no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He comes with a ton of cool stuff. The figure itself looks really nice, very unique. He has 2 alternate feet, 2 invisible, 2 normal. He's got 8 alternate hands, totaling 10 interchangeable hands. A hat, 2 heads. He's got a microscope, a little glass, and a book. And then, of course, his signature staff. But before we take a look at those, let's talk about and check out this figure. So this is Donatello from the Ninja Turtles, but he's crossed over with Universal Monsters, and he has the powers of the Invisible Man. Looks like he's a scientist, which would be appropriate. Donatello's always the nerd. And I guess he made himself an invisible serum, and bam, here we are. I always looked at this Universal and Ninja Turtle line as sort of the movie Turtles crossed over into the movie versions. Really cool looking figure, so let's take a look. Now, of course, his head covered in bandages, or at least wrap. He's invisible. There are no eyes there. On the back side, I thought this was really cool. He's got an invisible turtle shell, and there's pizza inside of it. That is just ridiculous. I love it. He's got a place to holster his staff rather. Looks like double jointed elbows, single jointed knees. You can see the invisible toes down there. I love that shell. That thing is hilarious. It's awesome. The guy's so unique. Attention to detail in these guys is great. It's just the figures are not very practical. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. And here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories, and let's start off with his hands. So he comes with a total of 10 hands, 5 right hands, 5 left hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. Here's his second pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands. And then his next pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands with a much larger grip. And here's his fourth pair of hands. His left hand is a completely open hand, and his right hand has the index finger pointing. Funny thing is, turtles only have 3 fingers on each hand, so it's also him holding up his middle finger. And here's his final pair of hands. This is a pair with no gloves on. The hands are transparent, invisible. Now let's look at his heads. He has 2 of them. They're both wrapped in bandages. One has a pretty normal expression, and one looks like he's talking, maybe he's angry, and his hair sticking out, or whatever that stuff is. Here's Donatello, with his first head, the more regular, normal expression, and then his second head, with the open mouth and the larger eyes. Now for his feet, he has 2 pair, one with wrap on them, one totally invisible. Here's his first set of feet, partially wrapped, the invisible toe sticking out. Then, his invisible feet. Here's Donatello, fully clothed. And here he is, as invisible as you can make him. Now for his hat. Nightless looking hat. It's black. It's got a stripe around the top. Here's Donnie without the hat. And here he is, with the hat on. Now for his bow staff. It's very long, made of wood. It's got a wrap all around the middle. Here's Donatello holding the bow staff. And then here, stowing it onto his back. Now for his cup. It contains the invisibility serum. It's transparent. It's got A little sort of mixer up top there. Here's Donatello holding that cup. Now for his book. Old school book. It's got a clamp on it. It says TGRI. That's the company that made the mutagen that turned him into the turtle. I think it's a pretty cool little Easter egg detail there. Here's Donnie holding and looking at his book. Now for his microscope. Awesome accessory. I can put this to a ton of use in my action figure world. Got the lens at the top. Down there where you put the stuff. Looks good. Very nice. Here it is, next to another microscope in my action figure collection. I'd say Donnie's is not as good as the other one, but still cool to have. Here's Donatello using the microscope. He's developing the invisibility serum. And it looks like there was one accessory that I missed. Luckily, I was still able to get out of the packaging, out of the trash. We have some goggles here, made of sort of a rubbery material. Got a lot of sort of give and bend to it. Black goggles in the front. Here's Donatello without the goggles, and here with the goggles on, and here with the goggles and the hat on. Pretty much my favorite look for him. And I don't think it's necessarily meant for this head, but if you wanted to, you can put him on the head with the hair sticking out. Now they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories. Now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing at about 6.25 inches tall, which is going to translate to just under 16 centimeters. Now these NECA figures are 7-inch scale, but the turtles are a little bit shorter than an average man. Now for his articulation. Start with his head here. Of course, it can rotate side to side. He can look up and down a little bit there. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint goes about 90 degrees. Up, down, around. Normal stuff. He does have double jointed elbows, but they don't go in too far. Big ol' sort of, I don't know, shoulder pad thing, elbow pad sort of blocking the articulation. It does have rotation both at the top and at the bottom. His wrist can rotate and hinged. Torso seems to be one solid piece. Ball joint his waist, rotate around, forward and back a little bit. Legs, very obstructed by the jacket. Ball joints inside of there, really not going to be able to go much further than this. Forward that much, back, once again, jacket's not going to allow that. Looks like single jointed knees. Go back less than 90 degrees with rotation. And then his ankle, forward and back, tilt rock, and he has rotation up a little higher there. Here's Donatello in his lab, as he has finally finished completing the invisibility serum. Now let's check him out, next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Donatello figures. Here's this Donatello as the Invisible Man, next to NECA's movie Ninja Turtle Donatello. I always thought these Universal Monster versions were pretty much the movie versions crossed over with Universal Monster movies. At least that's how it looks to me. And here he is, next to the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series, Donatello in disguise. Then, with the NECA Loot Crate exclusive, Donatello Dark Turtle, pretty much Donatello dressed as Batman. And here, with the Playmates Ninja Turtles crossover with Stranger Things, Donatello. I'm not actually certain if this one is Donatello. All four of them look pretty much exactly the same. They all have the red bandanas from the comics, but bandana is a little bit different in the back, but not different enough for me to know which one this is off the top of my head. And now, next to the DC Direct, Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie Donatello. Here are all of my 6 and 7-inch Donatello action figures. Now let's check them out. Next to some more NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover with Universal Monster figures. Here are all 4 of those turtles. We have Leonardo as the Hunchback of Notre Dame, Donatello as the Invisible Man, Raphael as Frankenstein's monster, and Michelangelo as the Mummy. And in the rest, Casey Jones as Phantom of the Opera, April O'Neil as the Bride of Frankenstein, and then Splinter as Van Helsing, and I believe the line is now over. We haven't seen any upcoming reveals or teases for this line, although I really expected to see Shredder as Dracula. I guess time will tell. If we don't see anything in the next few months, I'd say it's done. Now let's check him out. Next to some NECA Universal Monster figures. Here he is, next to the Invisible Man. This Donatello figure is a hybrid of the movie Donatello and the movie Invisible Man. This is that movie Invisible Man. You can definitely see a lot of similarities. I think they did an excellent job with both these figures. Here's Donatello with the entire collection of NECA Universal Monsters. I believe the next one coming is going to be the Phantom of the Opera. Here's Donatello, next to the 4 NECA Movie Ninja Turtles. These are, in my opinion, the best version of the Turtles out there. They are awesome figures. And here he is, next to some more modern NECA horror figures. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a NECA figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines I collect, and work way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his NECA brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from NECA Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, standing with even more NECA figures. And now, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures, here's Donatello, next to a 3-pack of Elmer Superglue. This is my superglue of choice when I want to put a piece back on an action figure and I want it to stay. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys, then with some McFarlane toys. And here he is, standing with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures, then with some Mattel wrestling figures, and now with some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collective figures, then with some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here he is, next to some Mafex figures, then with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. Overall, he's a very cool figure, very unique. Sculpt, paint job, details are absolutely amazing. I love his transparent turtle shell with the pizza slices inside. His accessories are plentiful and awesome. Articulation, pretty good, a little bit limited in the elbows, the knees, and even the torso. If I were to rate this figure, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Very nice figure, enjoying him every bit as much as I expected. And I thought I was going to enjoy him a lot. This Ninja Turtle crossover with Universal Monsters line is really cool, very well done, excellent attention to detail. But are they really necessary? The answer is no. They're very cool, but once this line is complete, I probably won't be pulling these guys out very often, that's for sure. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add it in the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.